Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Mind the Mental Monday. Hoping, as always, that everybody had a wonderful week. I hope that you are doing well and that you are remembering to mind the mental every day, that you are remembering to take care of your mental health each and every day. This week, we have a holiday coming up that we're all well aware of. This Wednesday is Valentine's Day. It's a day that we historically sort of have used to celebrate our love for, it could be our children, but usually it's mainly in the context of somebody that you're in a romantic relationship with. And so, hello, Ron. Good evening. Good to have you. Um, so tonight, I want to talk about the importance of loving yourself because I think that Valentine's Day is one of those holidays, just like many other holidays. Like so, for example, like Mother's Day and Father's Day. For some people, those holidays are really, really difficult because they have lost their loved ones, right? Or they've lost their parents. So for me, I don't have either of my parents anymore, and so both Mother's Day and Father's Day are hard for me. Um, I think Valentine's Day is also very similar because what we see in the media about Valentine's Day is very often, it's mainly for women, like somebody giving them diamonds or giving them diamonds and giving them uh, flowers and taking them out to dinner and all these lovely things, which I think are all lovely things. But if you're not in a relationship, if you're not in a romantic relationship, if you're not in a healthy romantic relationship, Valentine's Day can be really hard because what we tend to do is look at what others are getting. I remember my freshman year in college, my dad always made sure that his girls got something for Valentine's Day. So my freshman year in college, I also was dating someone, and so I had all kind of flowers delivered from my dad. I had flowers from the person that I was dating, and so my some of my roommates were just kind of like, "Wow, they didn't get anything," and it really made me be so grateful for having a dad in particular who was, keen on that, making sure his girls got something on Valentine's Day. But I really started to think about what that does to somebody who doesn't have those things, who doesn't have those kinds of relationships. And, I think just like everything else in America, while uh, being a capitalist society has its pros because people can come and can make careers and can start businesses and can build wealth. I don't think there's anything wrong with building wealth, but I think that what happens here very often is that we focus, the industries focus so much on making money, and a lot of times it is to the disservice to so many in our culture and in our society. And so while you have some who might be getting all kinds of goodies for Valentine's Day now, I'm sure that my husband is on one of these platforms watching, honey, this is not to say that you're not supposed to get me something for Valentine's Day. Okay, let's just set that record straight right now. So we always messing with each other. I still want my dinner and whatever else you got planned. Okay, all right. So now that that's clear, we can move forward now. Um, but really, what let's just look at what Saint Valentine's Day was initially. So Saint Valentine was a Roman priest, um, way back thousands of years ago, who was known as the patron of love in the Catholic Church, and he was one who believed in marriage. And at the time that he existed, the person who was the ruler of the Roman Empire at the time was really anti-Christian, and he he had a situation where his military, the people in the military, he forbade people from getting married because people wanted to stay home with their wives as opposed to going and fighting for the country. And so, in order to stop that, he forbade marriage, which in the Christian religion, marriage is something that is um, two people brought together by God, and it's something that's a good thing. And so, Saint Valentine was against that, and he married people anyway. He performed marriage ceremonies anyway, and for that reason he was martyred, he was killed. And so then he became a martyr in I think in Catholicism as this patron saint of love. So that's, and so the date February 14th was commemorated in honor of him. So that's really the sort of the origin of Valentine's Day. But as with so many other um, holidays or days that were considered holy days, maybe at one time, uh, they've been commercialized and they've been used um, to make money, to build the economy. And yes, we do want to have a thriving economy. That is a good thing. Uh, but what has happened is the focus has become less on love and relationship and more on what can I get? What are you going to get me on Valentine's Day? And so, truthfully, if you're in a healthy relationship, if you're in a healthy marriage, you're going to feel that love every day of the year. You're going to feel that. And I'm grateful that I have a husband who acknowledges his love for me all the time. So I don't have to wait for Valentine's Day to get flowers. I don't have to wait for Valentine's Day to get my favorite chocolate, um, or whatever else. Like I don't have to wait for that because he loves me, and he loves me truthfully. Um, and so for people who maybe are not in a healthy relationship or not in a relationship at all, but would like to be, this can be a really tough time of the year. And what I want to encourage you to do is to practice loving you. I want you to be so good at loving you that if you don't feel loved by anybody else, you feel good about yourself because you love the human being that you are. You love the beautiful, wonderful, creative, whatever adjective describes you. You love yourself. And a lot of times, when we don't love ourselves, it shows. And one of two things might happen when we sort of really don't have love for ourselves, when we don't have confidence in ourselves. What we show to others is either, um, you know, I don't deserve anyone to love me, or we might say to them, the only kind of like I will accept anything to be loved. I will accept anything to be in a relationship. I'll accept physical or verbal abuse. I'll accept being disrespected. I'll accept uh, someone who says they're in a relationship with me only behind closed doors, um, not not out in public, not showing any kind of public display of affection, not showing any kind of interest in me at all beyond what they can get out of me. And so when you have that sort of um, low self-esteem or just not being confident in yourself, it exudes, it shows, and others might prey on that, prey. And so it's important to really take the time to, first of all, sort of figure out what that looks like. What does loving you look like? What does having love for yourself look like? And then also thinking about, how do I get that if you don't have it? And being okay being by yourself and loving yourself until that special someone comes along to share that love with. And so self-love, there are a couple of definitions to the term self-love. And self-love is one, it's an appreciation of one's own worth or virtue. And so you have to see the value in yourself. You have to see that you are worth loving. You are worth loving. You are worth being around. You are worth having, doing nice things for yourself. You are worth others doing nice things for you. You're worth it. Um, and you have to see that in you. And it's one of those things that you can't depend on somebody else. Like, you can't depend on somebody else to make you happy. You can't depend on, even if you get that relationship, your happiness comes from within. Your joy comes from within. It's something that you work on in and of yourself. And then when you have that someone else to share that with, that just makes it even that much better. So look at yourself and look at the value in you. So if you're somebody who grew up with constant criticism, if you grew up with, nothing that you did was right, if you grew up with, being teased for how you look or how you dress, or, teased about whatever, all the myriad of things that people can tease you about, sometimes it's difficult getting those voices out of your head. And so I would suggest that, one, when those voices come up in your head, that you pause and you replace those voices with something else. And so you have to affirm yourself. So, get a list of affirmations for yourself. I am beautiful. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wherever your affirmations might come from, if they come from scripture, if they come from just something that you want to believe about yourself. I am able, to do whatever it is. Whatever those things are that you want to see in you, you must intentionally affirm yourself. So when those other voices come up in your head, you have to tell them, no, you got to go. You've got to get out of my head, and then start playing a different record. So if when you're in the car or wherever, now music is downloaded. If you have some kind of playlist that's playing and there's a song that you don't want to hear, what do? You press the skip button, right? You skip to the next song, or you skip to a song, or you go through and find the song that you want to hear. And that's what you have to do for yourself when you are practicing self-love. When you start hearing those voices, and it might not even be voices that were external, it might be just things that you're telling yourself about yourself that will bring you down and cause you to not love yourself. You have to say to yourself, and sometimes you might have to say it out loud, listen, you got to go. You have got to go. No, as for me, I might have been thinking this way yesterday, but right now, this is what I'm thinking about me. And then just start running it down. Just start running it down. Play a new song. Create a new song rather than the one that is going to cause you to self-loathe and to not exude love for yourself. All right. So it's an appreciation of one's own worth or virtue. The next definition of self-love is proper regard for and attention to one's own happiness or well-being. Proper regard for and attention to. It means that it is something that you must pay attention to. Pay attention to how you're feeling about you. Pay attention to the things that are cropping up inside of you that make you feel unworthy to be loved genuinely. In order to love or really receive love, you have to find that love within yourself. Sometimes, you might find there are situations where people get into a relationship and that person really genuinely loves them and really shows them that they are worthy to be loved. And that's a wonderful thing. But if you don't have that, then you must find whatever it is within yourself to properly regard for and attend to how you feel about you. And again, this is all on track with what I've been talking about for the last few weeks. We talked about looking in the mirror and how we tend to see negative things when we look in the mirror. We talked about, just the need to uh, take care of our own selves in the midst of maybe, you know, bad situations. We're talking about all of it really ties into loving ourselves. And if you find yourself getting to a holiday like Valentine's Day and you find yourself being depressed because you feel like because you're not getting some flowers or some candy or a teddy bear or a diamond ring or whatever the case might be on that day from somebody special, that makes you less than who you are. I want to encourage you tonight that you are worth all of that. And if you want a teddy bear, go buy yourself a teddy bear that says I love you. Buy yourself a teddy bear that says I love you and put a picture of yourself on it. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself out loud, I love you. And repeat that to yourself until you really believe it. Until you really feel that love. So as you know, we like to, try to encourage you to do the work. Do some exercises that might help you if you are in a situation where, this you're dreading Wednesday coming. And when Wednesday comes, you feel like you're going to just, bury your head under the covers and just not come out until Thursday. I don't Rather than do that, on Wednesday morning, if God gives you breath in your body, I want you to throw those covers back, get up. First of all, be grateful that you're alive and that you are here. But I want you to get up and, I want you to look at yourself, go to that mirror and say, Happy Valentine's Day. I love you because you are worthy to be loved. Start rattling off, playing that record about yourself. And this is not, when you do that, it's not like you're being cocky. It's not about trying to be something that you're not. I'm putting that in quotes. It is about accepting who you are, accepting that you are perfectly imperfect, accepting that while you, just like every individual on the planet, might have a flaw or two or several, you are still worthy of love. You are still worthy of loving you. You are worthy. And for those that are in the Christian religion, we know that we are worthy because Jesus felt that we were worth it to die for, as Anthony Brown sings about in his song Worth. He thought we were worth saving, so he came and changed our lives. He thought we were worth keeping, and so he cleaned us up inside. He thought we were to die for. Hey, listen, let me tell you right now, you are to die for. You are wonderful. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are beautiful. You are a gift to this world. Walk in that. Walk in the gift that you were created to be and love yourself for it. Because when you love yourself, you can more adequately love others because you will more than likely treat others the way that you want to be treated. And that means that you will want to be treated like the lovable king or queen that you are. All right, so here's something that I want you to start thinking about. Um, Here are a few questions for you to ponder as you go throughout this week as we head towards Valentine's Day. Do you feel loved? Do you feel loved? And if you do feel loved, what makes you feel loved? What is it? What does that mean? What makes you feel like you're loved? And if you don't feel loved, why don't you feel loved? What is it that causes you to not feel loved? And what would feeling loved look like? What would that mean for you? What would happen if you to make you feel loved? What does self-love look like for you? So that goes back into some of the previous episodes of Mind the Mental Monday, where you're really just looking at, how you feel about you. What do you think about you? What are what thoughts come to mind when you think about you? Um, what does self-love look like for you? If you don't feel like you have that, what would it look like for you? What would that mean? And then what do you have to do to go get it? What do you have to do to receive it? Um, in those times that you're feeling loved or feeling unloved, what thoughts are going through your head? Because remember when we talked about last week how we do have power over our thoughts, but we have to exercise that power intentionally. And so if you think about when in those moments where you feel unloved, if you think about the thoughts that are going through your head that makes you feel that way, then it's time to change the record. It's time to push through to the next song. And you have to be the creator of that song. You have to be the one who creates your what will make you feel like you are loved. Um so those are just some questions to think about. But I really, just wanted tonight to first of all, this Valentine's Day as it comes, know that you know, really, it's really not about just all the things. I mean, that's not what love is about. There are people who, you know, whose loved ones, whose partners might give them all kinds of things, but they're never around. There are people who live in big empty mansions that maybe their spouse purchased and they're able to live in it, and they might be able to live in the lap of luxury, but they really have never experienced love, because love has nothing to do with things. Love doesn't have anything to do with resources. Love means that you love a person, you're with them whether they broke or whether they're a billionaire. And if they were a billionaire and became broke, you'd still be with them because you genuinely love them for who they are. And so you have to love you for who you are. And if you would love, being, making more money or getting a different job or whatever the case might be, you can work on that, do the work and to get to where you want to be, but know that that really doesn't have anything to do with love. Love is something that is unconditional. It's just I love you. It's not I love you if, I love you but, I love you when. That's not love. True love is unconditional. It's I love you, period. Now, there might be some things that you do that I don't love. That and there's gonna be some things that you do that they don't love. I mean, that's just the nature of being human. We all have our all just our isms. We all have our quirks, right? Um, but true love is I love you, and that's that on that, right? So I really want you to think about, do you love you? And if you're not with somebody, if you're not in a relationship right now, um, use that time to really, really work on you. Really work on loving you, really work on um, what you need to do to find that love in your heart for yourself, and to recognize that you are worthy of being loved genuinely. Again, not loved if, loved but, loved when, but just loved. You're worthy of it. And I hope that you can find that within yourself. Um, if you need someone to help you unpack some things to get to that self-love, as I say in every week, you might want to find you might need to look into working with a therapist to help you work through some of those things. As a certified life coach, I am not a licensed mental health practitioner. And so there may be some things that you need to work out in therapy before you get to me. But if you are, looking to just kind of figure out your next in life, you're looking to find fulfillment in your life, then I'm the one. I'm the one to talk to about that. All right. So again, here's some questions to think about. Do you feel loved? And if you don't feel loved, what would it take for you to feel loved? When you don't feel loved, what thoughts are you thinking that's causing you to not feel loved? Yeah, what does being loved feel like? What would that look like for you, and how do you get there? So, what thoughts are you thinking during those times that you're feeling unloved? What thoughts are you thinking during those times that you feel loved? And if you are playing a record in your head that's telling you what you're not, that's playing all kinds of reasons for you not to love yourself, then it's time to skip that song and create a new record for yourself. It's time to create a new song. It's time to play a new song in your head. So get that list of affirmations of who you are, and write that down, and that's going to be your new record. That's going to be your lyrics for that record that you play in your head, is positive things about yourself, positively affirming yourself. And it's intentional, and you have to do it every day. You have to do it every day so that your brain becomes used to it. And once your brain locks in, just like it took a long time for you to develop that song that says what you're not, it's going to take some time for your brain to be rewired to think differently about you. And so, but you've got to be intentional. This is something you have to work on. This is something you have to do every day. You got to play a different song. And only you can write that song. Only you can write your song that will get you to a place of loving yourself, so that when Valentine's Day comes around, if you don't have a partner to share it with, you can share it with you. Get yourself that teddy bear, get yourself your favorite chocolates, get yourself some flowers, and love on you. And say in that song, it's gonna be all right. All right. So I hope this has encouraged somebody tonight. I hope that you are encouraged to love you. Um, I hope you are encouraged to be your own Valentine. Even if you have a Valentine, even if you're in a good relationship, still be your own Valentine. Still love on you. All right? Don't look for love outside of you. Get that love inside of you, and it will attract the love that's coming. All right? So I hope you all enjoyed tonight. I hope you've been encouraged, and I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you have a good Valentine's Day, but I hope you have a good every day, not just a one day of the year. You are worth being loved. Don't you ever forget that. Peace. Good night, everybody.